Professional wrestling, we all love it, and we can say one thing about it. It is definitely a topsy-turvy business. Going back to the days of the pioneers, then we go to the carnival days, where it was a traveling sideshow. You would see sideshow freaks, you would see technical masters, and you would see people working their gimmick, trying to get your sweet, sweet dollar. And then we go to Lou Thez, we go to Wild Bill Lawson, we would go to the days of television, Vern Gagne, and so many others on the now-defunct Dumont Network, and so many great professional wrestlers that are still remembered and some that are lost to history. Then we go to cable television, the growth of cable television, the national expansion by Vince McMahon, the dirty pervert that he was and always will be. But that being said, professional wrestling is something that we have always loved. And then we go to the Attitude Era, the Ruthless Aggression Era, over to Japan, we go to the UK, we go up north of me to Canada, we go right here to the USA, we go to Mexico, we go every single place except Antarctica. I don't think they allow penguin wrestling, at least not until a few palms are greased. But when it comes to professional wrestling as an industry, we honestly feel that we know who cuts the best promo, who has the best matches, who is the best all-around wrestler. So I'm here to give my personal subjective opinion on that very topic. I'm John Redland with my 25 best wrestlers of the 2024 list with some honorable mentions. Let me know your honorable mentions in the comments, please. Now, this is how I decided with particular criteria. Who I enjoy watching, who I think has the best matches, who has just overall entertained me. And honestly, there are way more great wrestlers, good wrestlers, wrestlers that, really do captivate you. You don't have to be the best wrestler in the ring if you have a great gimmick, and vice versa. You can have the best goddamn gimmick, or you can have an average gimmick, and you can have great technical ability. The thing is wrestling is subjective. Truly subjective. It always will be subjective. And there are going to be a bunch of people I'm going to leave off on this list. I do want to know who you feel are the best wrestlers. And I'm mixing men and women in here because I could do separate lists, but fuck it. I'm just going to mix it. Human centipede them together. No, honorable mentions. Seth Pheasant Rollins. Whoa, whoa, burn it down. The man's fought through back injuries, knee injuries, and he honestly probably doesn't have a whole lot of time left in his prime because he's beat up, bless him. But Seth Rollins, when he has performed, he has done some really good shit. Zack Sabre Jr., the current IWGP World Champion as of this recording. And look, I like Zack Sabre Jr. I love Zack Sabre Jr. even. But the thing is, what I have seen of New Japan, he is basically having to drag most of that goddamn company on his back. And bless him, I just can't put him in the top 25 because while I have enjoyed what I have seen from him, yeah, I kind of got to put a strike because of New Japan. Jacob Fatu. He hasn't wrestled often, but when he has, boy howdy, how goddamn scary and entertaining, and again, utterly goddamn scary, frightening even, is he. Met him, nice guy, but boy, I'm so happy he's in WWE. Kyle Fletcher. He, got a recent win over Will Ospreay. More on him in a bit. Maybe soon. You'll have to see. And Kyle Fletcher really has done well for himself. I'm not saying he's my absolute favorite, but I have to say that I've been impressed with what he's been doing. So that's why he is on this particular honorable mention portion. Timeless Tony Storm or Rockstar split personality Tony Storm as of right now. She's done some great work, some great character work, and she still can go in the ring. Wes Lee, he'll turn his work for him, and bless him, he is doing some good stuff. FTR. FTR used to actually be pretty high on this list, but it is almost impossible for me to get invested in anything FTR does because, oh yeah, the company doesn't really see much in them, even though they are really goddamn good and the best tag team in the world today. It's just, you can't honestly get invested because they never are able to get anything done without immediately being stamped down or kept off TV. And that's just unfortunate. So, much as I love FTR, they're the last on the honorable mentions list. So, top 25. Fatal Influence. Fallon Henley, my goodness, JC Jane, and the rest. I'm sorry, Jasmine Nix, I believe is her name. No, I mean, JC and Fallon are very good. JC probably should have been called up well before this. Fallon Henley has definitely come into her own. Jasmine, I mean, she's alright, I guess. But as a trio, they have worked pretty well. They've been one of the few bright spots of NXT when I've been able to stomach it. when I have tried to ignore Booker T's commentary, I have to give them a shout here. But they really need to call up J.C. Jane soon. She's been there long enough. They've called up other people that aren't necessarily ready. And there we are. So we got number 24, Damian Priest. Look, as a talent, he's very good. Nice style for a big man. Can cut a mean promo when he wants to. There's just something not quite clicking with his character that keeps him further down this list than I want him to be. And I just don't understand what necessarily is missing. Now, yes, he is in his early 40s, but after that WWE 24 or whatever the hell it was, the cash-in, all that, and his story and all that, leading to the cash-in and leading to SummerSlam, the man is good. He has a tremendous story, and he is actually very dynamic to watch in the ring, but something's keeping him down here. So that being said, number 23, hell is frozen over, Dominic Mysterio. Yeah, I look forward to people being utterly blown away, or blown because of this. Dominic Mysterio has honestly impressed me a whole lot more than I thought he would. Now, I'm not saying he's great in the ring, but when he has shown up, he has shown out. And this stuff with Liv is really working. More on Liv here in a bit, and I got to eat crow on it. I said that Dominic was one of the worst, on my personal list a few years ago. Might even been as recently as last year. I don't know, honestly, because I've done so many damn videos. But I got to put Dominic here because, you know what? As far as it's like what Ole Anderson said to Jim Cornette one time. This is said in a shoot interview and on a podcast. I used to think you were a dumb fuck, but so many other dumb fucks have come along that you've actually moved up the ladder. And, yeah, he's moved up the ladder, and he's no longer down here with the king of dumb fucks. No, in all honesty, Dominic has actually found his niche here, and I have to give him a shout. Number 22, Mina Shirakawa. Clearly for her wrestling ability, and only that. No, she actually is pretty good in the ring. Look, it's the complete package. She can work. She has a physical charisma about her. Boy, does she ever. And she looks great. She absolutely looks incredible, but no, in all seriousness, I think that she's very, she is fun to watch. She makes the most of her television time, cares about what she does. And yeah, she looks fucking great. That's why I gotta mention her here. So number 21, Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa would be way, way, way higher on this list. She was even number 1 a couple of years ago. But unfortunately, due to the fact that they haven't utilized her all that much on television. She was injured for a while, has come back, and that's not her fault. I'm glad that she's healthy and doing great things. I wish Thunder Rosa was higher because Thunder Rosa to me is one of the best wrestlers in the world, not just man or woman. One of the best wrestlers. I really enjoy watching Thunder Rosa because she can work. She can have a great match with anybody. She has in the past. I hope that 2025 is a big year for her. But that's why I have to shout Thunder Rosa here, because even though she's only been in a handful of matches since coming back, I've enjoyed what I've seen, and she had a pretty knockdown drag-out match against Deonna Purrazzo on a recent collision, that is, which I think unfortunately led to a concussion that she had. Thankfully, she is back and is poised to, again, have a big 2025. Number 20, Chelsea Green. Yeah. The most recent champion on this particular list, she is the first ever Women's United States Champion in WWE, that is. Chelsea, bless her, has made the most of her television time, is willing to take crazy bumps, is willing to do insane shit, and I gotta mention Chelsea here. She has won me over, God bless her. So, now we go to number 19, Bayley, I want to know, should you be higher? Probably, because Bayley had a really good match against Io Sky, and then unfortunately was not given much to do during her reign, and then had to drop it to the sack of shit that is Nia Jax. But Bayley, for all the years that she has put in the ring, what she put before she got to WWE, the trials and tribulations, the injuries she's overcome, she has done really, really good stuff. She's gone from being, the lovable, huggable one to gaining an edge, turning heel, recently turning babyface earlier this year. And Bayley has to get a shout here. Now that says, who in the world would I have well above her, given how much I'm praising Bayley. You will have to find out, but Bayley is very, very good. Now, we get to number 18. Julia and Stephanie Vaquer, or Vaquer, however you say it. Yeah, I'm just putting a couple people in one entry because it's my list. Fuck you. Julia is great. Vaquer is great. They both can wrestle incredibly well. They can have great matches with anybody. So I'm on a handful of the New Japan USA shows. Vaquer even had, in my opinion, Mercedes' best match in AEW at Forbidden Door, which got her the look, in all honesty, and boy, does Vaquer have the look. But both of them are very good, and I really do see them being bright spots of NXT in 2025, though I don't think they're going to even make it through 2025. Enjoy them while they last before the main roster does God knows what. Number 17, yes, it's the American Angry Dragon, Bryan Danielson. I think that was his nickname. I got to see his last match of his full-time run at WrestleDream 2024, and Tony Khan killed Washington State as a market. But, that being said, seeing Bryan Danielson throughout his career, seeing him, seeing his retirement on Raw, actually getting to be part of a couple of years earlier at the Slammy 2013 Raw, where we were taking over the whole goddamn thing, and the Climate Pledge Arena was a lot fuller than it was for WrestleDream 2023 and Collision the night before. But nevertheless, it's fine. But that was great. And Bryan Danielson this year alone, he's fought through injuries, kind of stupidly. He had great matches with Ospreay and Swerve, and was a short-term champion until they could put it on Moxley, which has not worked at all, but that's not Bryan's fault. Bryan has put on some great goddamn matches, and he will be sorely missed in the ring full-time. Honestly, if he never steps back in the ring again, I'd be okay with it. Though he did say at the press conference for All In Texas, I'm worried he will try to get back in the ring. Motherfucker, you need neck surgery. You need something. Go home and be a family man. It's okay. Bryan has definitely more and bled and sweat and paid the price with all the injuries. He should be able to do what he wants to do. But Bryan Danielson deserves a shout here at number 17. And speaking of Danielson, number 16, the man that he beat at All In London, Swerve Strickland. Swerve when he drives, and he swerves when he drives, and he swerves when he drives, which isn't actually how it goes, but look, I'm not going to say Swerve has been part of, part of all my favorite matches of the year. I didn't necessarily care for some of the stuff he did with Hangman, especially at Full Gear last year, and the burning down the house stuff, but it is impossible to ignore that Swerve is an incredible talent. And Swerve is an incredible talent. And there are incredible talents that I'm leaving off of this list, like Carmelo Hayes, and, LA Knight, and various others, but Swerve gets the nod because not only first African-American to be a world champion in AEW. I think he carried himself well. I think he did as good of a job as he could as champion. I don't think the feuds were necessarily great, but Swerve was over and up, but then they kind of nerfed what he did. And now, I think he's better off without the title, and maybe he can eventually win it back, maybe in 2025, 2026. But Swerve is very, very good, and just for that accolade alone of winning the championship, he's here on the list. Number 15, speaking of champions, Roxanne Perez. Arguably one of the top 3 or 4 NXT women's champions ever. Maybe one of the top 3 or 4 women's champions that they've had since NXT basically developed its title. So, I mean, that's taking the totality of Raw and SmackDown. Roxanne has excelled at this heel run. She's done some very good stuff. She's done some of the best mic work of her goddamn career. She has really, done some great stuff. Had a great match against Jada goddamn Parker, if I recall correctly. And Jada Parker was able to arrive and do some stuff. So that right there, I mean, because Jada, bless her, has done some good stuff. But Roxanne, even for her youth, Roxanne's only in her early 20s and still a wealth of experience in having these kind of matches. It's hard to ignore the fact that Roxanne Perez is one of the best wrestling has. I mean, it's fucking stupid to say otherwise. Number 14, sticking with the women, Willow Nightingale. She's, it's like put on a smile, be happy, and bull over everybody and bark and make the fans bark, or maybe that's just me and several others, but that's another story for another day. Willow Nightingale, quite good. Bubbly, talented, has a great physical charisma about her, has had some good matches this year, but just for the fact that you can't help but be happy, you can't help but get energized whenever Willow Nightingale is on TV. I look forward to seeing what else Willow can do. And they popped big when Willow won the title at Dynasty. Unfortunately, she dropped it right to Mercedes a little bit later on. That was a little good piece of business, except it wasn't. But Willow, very, very good. Very good, has definitely excelled. That's why she's here at number 14. Number 13, like Mussolini. And Kennedy, I hate the remix, but is Mr. Cult of Personality himself, CM Punk, CM Punk, CM Punk. Yes, he was out injured for a while, but you know what? He kept cutting promos. They kept that feud with Drew interesting. The Hell in a Cell match was fucking great. His involvement in War Games helped elevate the match. And any matches he has been involved in, the match at SummerSlam against Drew, him coming down as the referee, when Drew almost, had the win, and then Punk did this and everything, and, screwed over as the other referee. And that was a great shot. They just cut away enough where I'm like, that's Punk as the ref. That's Punk as the ref. But Punk's been part of so many memorable moments without even having to compete that often in the ring. And the fact that he's in his mid-40s, he would mean just as much to AEW's business if they had any goddamn boss with any kind of balls, and if they had EVPs that actually had any guts. But now he's for the biggest company, creating some big business, and doing some great stuff. So CM Punk, CM Punk, CM Punk is number 13. Number 12, MJF. Yeah, he was off for a while because of carrying that company on his back, and he came back as a face, beat up Adam Cole, who was a heel, then did some stuff, then went to do something else, I think shoot a movie. No, he did the American Championship thing after beating Will Ospreay. And then did some good stuff, there leading to All in London. Took some time off to do, did a little stuff with Garcia, then took time off to do movies. And even though they have kind of reduced his star power, in my personal opinion, it is impossible to not look at MJF and say he truly is one of the best. They work on the back knee a little bit. Just saying. Just doctors, care or not, that's a little unhealthy. I'm a little worried. But I like MJF a lot. He is one of the few bright spots. He is somebody I will always tune in for, but just give him better feuds in 2025. Just really. And again, these are my personal opinions, but nevertheless, MJF, tremendous. Number 11, Konosuke Takeshita. Okay, I hate DDT Pro because even though I have seen some of it and they feature some good wrestlers, they also feature too much comedy bullshit. Just based on stuff that I have seen, clips and matches that I have seen, and for every good thing there is, I don't care for a couple of the other things. But that being said, Takeshita is one of the few that has come out of there that has broken out onto a U.S. stage. And finally, they gave him a goddamn championship. I was there at Wrestle Dream 2024 when he won, and everybody popped. All 6,300 of us in a 22,000-seat building that they were using half of. And they couldn't even fill up half the goddamn thing. Good job, Tony. Takeshita, though, great. Absolutely great. It was dynamic whenever he wrestles. He's very interesting to watch. And Takeshita is just so skilled. Fuck it, make him the world champion in 2025. So, let's get number 10. We go to Io Sky. I mean, she's had great matches. She had a great match against Bayley. She's had a couple great matches on Raw that I talked about in earlier reviews. One against Lyra, one against Bianca, the Raw in Portland. That was one of the best TV matches I've seen all year. But Io is just fucking great. She's very skilled in the ring. And my God, she is gorgeous. Good grief, she is gorgeous. But skills are what really sells a wrestler like Io Sky. And Io is just that goddamn good. And she has had a hell of a 2024. Number 11, or number 9 rather, I'm going backward. No, number 9. Okay, I'm cheating a little bit here. I'm doing 2. The Glamour Mariah May, the greatest champion according to certain people that are watching this. By certain people, I mean 1. Really good guy, by the way. I just wanted to say that one person. No, Mariah May has done great as AEW Women's Champion as of this recording. And yes, in case you are watching this way in the future, I'm recording this before AEW World's End. Why? Because I got a lot of shit to do, guys. I got a lot of fucking shit to do. But Mariah May has done great. First she was Tony's lackey, and then she, beat her down and dominated her and was just fisting her repeatedly, unless it was that dream I had. But then she beat her it all in. She's done good stuff. She had that recent, string of segments and a match with Mina Shirakawa. That was great for the wrestling ability. And only that. But Mariah, she looks good. She has improved. Her time in Stardom absolutely helped her. And she has taken that and parlayed that into a better feature role in AEW. And I'm not saying that she wasn't doing good stuff in Stardom. She was one of the few bright spots, but I can't keep up on everything in wrestling, guys. I don't have enough time. But Mariah May shares a spot with Tiffany Stratton. Like, whatever. That's again, for one person that's going to hate me saying that. No, Tiffany, really, of getting the moves and just being able to execute the moves and understanding the little things and picking up on that, she has really done some good stuff. Valley Girl stuff and the Clueless stuff is a little bit annoying. I don't necessarily care as much for that. I think she needs to kind of go away from that. But Tiffany has been very, very good almost since she showed up. And has just gotten better. And, the Elimination Chamber match where people were saying Tiffy time. She is doing some great shit. Current Miss Money in the Bank and is doing some of the best work of her young career. So that's why I had to slot her in there with Mariah. Now we go to number 8, Drew McIntyre. Career year here. Forget 2020. We all wish we could, even though he's a world champion. And his opportunities of winning championships have been taken away from him. And then he finally started to get more interesting in 2024 because let's face it, it's not his fault the creative started to fail him. But Drew McIntyre has really done some great stuff here. The feud with Punk, the fact that he, unintentionally injured Punk when he did the Future Shocker DDT. He did this right there. He basically would end up, causing CM Punk to be injured. And they turned this into something where Punk would cost him the title at Mania. And he would continue to go back and forth and do this stuff. Feud of the year, in my personal opinion, at least feud of WWE. And Drew's just done so much good stuff. And him having time off after Hell in a Cell and coming back just recently was a really good move. It freshens him up. And really, he looks great. He's got a great moveset. He's being more of a heel, being more of a dastardly heel, and being more of a kick-ass type guy like he is really does suit him, even though he's worth rooting for. And that's really all I have to say about that. So, number 7, Oba Femi. Yeah, here you go. A weird name. I'm still not sure about the name. But my God, you look at him, it's like, okay, yeah, you could do something with this guy. You really could do something with this guy. If you can't make money with this guy, I don't know why I'm pointing up to the ceiling like he's up there, like that Smithers, watching Mr. Burns come into his window and everything. And But Oba Femi is very, very talented. Great big man. Works like a big man. The chops, the fact that he, can just do this, get the fans' attention, hits that power bomb tremendously. He works like a big man, but he has the physical charisma and the likability where you can't help but just say, yeah, I fucking like this guy. The first time I saw him, I go, okay, we got something here. By we, I mean the company that I'm not part of, but the fans, we as fans, definitely have something here seeing Oba Femi. Number 6, Bianca Belair. I mean, come on. Bianca is made for this. I don't know how long Bianca will be in wrestling. Hollywood could be calling for her. She may want to start a family Montez. I'm not here to judge. I don't care. It's her life. Don't you forget. It's her life. It eventually ends, but she can do what she wants until it does. Bianca with her ponytail whip and the fact that she picked up Piper on a recent SmackDown. She has just all this otherworldly ability. And just thinking about the fact that she's been so good for a few years. 2024, yeah, her team with Jade. Some may have seen it as a demotion. I don't know why, because Jade needed to be brought along, and Jade may or may not be injured. Who knows? Dirt sheets never really get that shit right, to be perfectly honest. But Bianca has done, a lot of great work here, even though she's been more of a reduced role. And whenever you give her a chance, like on that aforementioned match against Io Sky on the Raw in Portland. She really can just show off what she can do, which is honestly one of the best goddamn athletes wrestling has going today. Number 5, we have the Braun Breaksteiner. We have the Mr. Steiner. We have the younger Steiner, Braun Breaker. I mean, the man's so fucking over and just hits with such impact. He really is just a package of his dad and his Uncle Scott. I mean, he just hits. The fact that he could hit that spear just like that and he'll just launch himself. He does that move, that jumping clothesline from the apron where there's no spring. It's a deep cut for wrestling or MST3K fans and Rift Tracks fans. But he just does that and does the clothesline over the goddamn announcer's table. He'll hit the spear, that overhead spear that he hit. I want to say on Kaiser. It's on Kaiser, and I think they did somebody else. But just the fact that he did that, and he can just do some incredible shit. He is so fucking good. And at least he's the Intercontinental Champion once again. No, I'm not mentioning Jey Uso. You know how I feel about Jey Uso. You can yeet him up all you want. That sounded less dirty in my head. Steiner, though, great. He could end up being number 1 next year, maybe. But not this year. Number 4, Rhea Bloody Ripley. Mommy's always on top, and boy, who wouldn't... Never mind. Moving on. She is swole, as the kids used to say. I don't know what they say now. She's incredibly gifted athletically. Tons of physical charisma. Has had great matches this year. Is a fucking Amazonian goddess. I mean, good grief. And bless her and Buddy seem so happy together. I'm just saying, if you get a chance with a woman like that, you don't let her go. Whole point is, Rhea, absolutely tremendous, and has had a great feud with Liv, even with the injuries that she's had. It has worked in her favor. She's gone away, she's come back. And she's still able to have that aura and has not really lost it, to be perfectly honest. And after a few years, sometimes, with the advent of cable television and the overexposure on social media and on, on just the YouTube clips and on Raw, SmackDown, the, premium live pay-per-views, that can happen. But she hasn't lost a goddamn step or a bit of star power. Number 3, Gunther. The man that will reign for 1,000 days. 1,000 days of an Austrian man showing his superiority. Tomorrow belongs to me. He's current world champion. He has done some great shit. He held the Intercontinental title for 666 days. That was fucking intentional. There's no way that it wasn't. It's the mark of the yeast. I think that's how that goes. That explains the smell. Let's get back to the Gunther. Gunther has done such great work. And yes, there are some that might find him boring. And that's fine. I respect it. He's not everybody's cup of tea. He's a great throwback. Yes, they could probably have him wrestle a little bit more. I kind of wish that they maybe had him and Kaiser and maybe another guy. It was a trio, not Vinci, because I don't think the Vinci stuff has worked. I don't remember the last time he was on television. But have at least like a trio, and you could have Gunther do some work and build up some feuds and everything. But he has done a lot of good stuff as the world champion. They need more meaningful feuds. And that's been kind of the issue with Gunther. That's kind of even the issue that with some of his Intercontinental title run. And that's on creative, but really, Gunther is he's a perfect pro wrestler. He truly is. He's not number 1, though. And we have to get to number 2 anyway, because we can't jump from 3 to 1. That's not how the calendar works. Except this is a list, not the calendar. Let's move on. Number 2, watch her. It's Liv Morgan. Be honest, you did not expect Liv Morgan to be that high on this list. Did any of you expect Liv Morgan to be on this list? Did you expect Liv to be nearly at the top? Stop thinking about Liv near the top, Kier. Stop thinking about it. Get some goddamn help. Poor Kier. Great guy, but Kier, seriously, what the fuck is wrong with you? It's nearly the ho-ho-ho-ho holidays, and Liv is not going to be coming down your chimney. Poor Kier. Great guy. Really. I just can't help but say that. But no, Liv has done great as women's champion. She has embraced this heel persona. They turned this whole thing around on a dime. Her and Rhea, Rhea's injury happening. It was time for the shoulder to go. And Liv has done great stuff as, just being this sniveling, conniving, and, sneaky heel. And her and Rhea had a great match at SummerSlam. They had that crowd eating out of their hands. That's what I was going to say. Let's move on from that. Great stuff. Her turning heel, joining Dominic, or Dominic joined her. Liv really has had a career goddamn year. She really goddamn has. I mean, it's impossible to say, anything different. Even if you're a detractor of hers, she has had some great goddamn moments. But, number one, Ospreay, bruv. For better or worse, Ospreay to me has been the pro wrestler of the year. Yes, he does a few too many flippy fancy shit things, and some of his matches do get a little nonsensical with some of the adrenaline rush. Come get the adrenaline rush, and the fact that some of the moves get a little bit out of control, some of the crazy stuff, and maybe you could have them slow down. But there's no doubting that as far as excitement, Will has pretty much been one of the few that has consistently gotten the crowds in AEW to buy into his shit. Like, constantly. And Will Ospreay, to me, the pro wrestler of the year. He was a pro wrestler of the year, I swear. No, I think he was number 2 back in, 2019, I believe. I think it was him and Okada were, neck and neck. And Okada, by the way, deserves an honorable mention, but I haven't been impressed with anything he's been doing recently. Bitch. But Will Ospreay has done great stuff. Great pay-per-view match after great pay-per-view match. That TV match with MJF, to me, the best AEW television match that I have seen all year. That's why Will Ospreay is number 1 this year. Let's see what happens in 2025, if I do a list for it, because I'm getting burned out. That being said, let me know your favorites. Let me know in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.